we went to the movies for Christmas.
We did.
And we went to see Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9.
The 2-hour time sucker. I can't get that time back.
The finale of the quote-unquote Skywalker saga.
Spoiler alert, it sucks.
And we gonna spoil it. More detailed than that. We gonna spoil it. If you ain't seen it yet, you should have. You know, I don't think you can talk about it without spoiling it.
Right.
I mean, the whole script kind of leaked online. I didn't read it, but it's there. But yeah, it sucks. Says Crystal. Yeah.
It left so many unanswered questions. There were so many. Nobody clapped. How about that? Yeah.
One kid clapped.
At the beginning.
Oh, at the end, there was a kid who was getting up. A kid clapped.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, one kid clapped.
And I'm not used to that from like a Star Wars type movie.
Epic movies.
At the end of the movie, when it ends or whatever, people are going bonkers.
I didn't hear no emotion in it.
People were just like, oh, okay, time to go.
At the end of Endgame, people was like speechless, like they was in their seats still. Like
right.
That's why people when we went to see Star Wars, people just getting up and leaving.
I saw people leave before it even ended.
That's crazy. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like there were some people that were sitting up at the top. They
and I don't think it was that bad. I mean, it was bad. I don't think it was bad that I would leave in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I feel they dropped the ball on it. I think it's not as bad as critics have, because I've seen people online just going completely in on it. I think it was like a Batman vs Superman type situation where Act 1, Act 2 was pretty good, but you got to stick the landing, and they didn't stick the landing. So, but with this movie, I don't know what the Martha moment is. I think there's a few Martha moments in it, which is the problem. Right. That third act was very okay. Like I said, we're gonna spoil some stuff.
Basically,
Rey was the last Airbender. She took all of the spirits from all the avatars that came before her. It was Endgame, because there was a line where Palpatine said, "I am such and such," and she said, "Well, no, I am a Jedi," and it was like, "I am Iron Man." Snap.
Yes, I am the Sith. I am all of the Sith.
Right, and she said, "Well, I am all the Jedi," and it was just like, "Am I watching Endgame again?" Like, yes. Or a bootleg version of it? Did I download the wrong copy? Yeah. Like they didn't stick the landing. The third chapter is the third part is bad. The third
installment. Or
no. I mean, like
I could get past that. Mm-hmm. I cannot get past the Rey Ben final.
And that's when it started. Their last fight was good eye candy. It was the water with the waves crashing. It was eye candy. But then when she kills him, she gets the best of him. Then she brings him back. Right. And I guess it speaks to her hope for there's still good in him. Right. The Ben part. Yeah. Like there's still good in you. But I don't. I think I was okay with that. But I think it wasn't fleshed out enough in the previous movies. She don't really know him. Right. You know what I mean? But that's something that Luke could have done or something. She didn't know him to say, "There's no good in you." How do you know?
I feel like the bridging of the minds, the fighting that they've been doing since episode 7. Yeah. The tension.
So when she saw him with his shirt off.
Probably.
That's what did it. She was like, so she's one of them females that got a bad boy, but still feels she can change him.
No, I think she saw pieces. she could compartmentalize the Kylo Ren from the Ben, because Ben's mom is this and Ben's dad is this.
He killed his dad and tried to kill his mom.
So there must be still some good in Ben, and I can get past all of that.
Yeah, but I didn't like her killing him and then bringing him back.
The last part where they are together and he brings her back, and they finally kiss.
Well, I guess I'm the opposite of y'all, because I felt he brought her back because she brought him back, but I didn't like her bringing him back, and I feel like that's the part. I think that part don't happen if she don't bring him back.
There was always been something bubbling under the surface between him and her.
And he never knew what it was when he saw her in 7. When they first met in 7, he had this
thing. It was an attraction. It was a draw to her. He never knew what it was.
Right.
She was trying to figure out who he was and what it was. And I think once they started having the mind conversations and the interactions and the continuous, because the stuff that they talked about, she never told anybody.
Right. In 8. Yeah. The little mind bridges.
Yeah, she never told anybody. And I think she saw the glimpse of Ben when he actually had the fight with his father and killed his father. I think that's when she saw that Ben was still technically in there and that it was Kylo Ren who killed his father. And then what we don't see is the time she spends with Leia. I'm sure there's conversations that they have and talks, and so she gets the history about them and him. But they're still having their mind conversations because they're still very much connected.
Right. And she always says, I sense the conflict in you.
Right.
I sense the conflict in you.
Right.
He's always, I'm going to bring you over. They want to be together either on one side or the other. It's just that one person's on one side and one person's on the other. And they want to be together.
Right.
But know that they can't because you're on that side and I'm not going that way.
Right.
Oh, but I'm over here. Can't you come over here? But no,
I'm not going that way.
It's like that age-old man-woman. Well, okay, I'm home. You coming over?
Right.
Well, nah. I thought you was coming over here. Well, nobody actually said where we was going. We just want to meet up.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like so y'all didn't get her bringing him back, but y'all get him bringing her back.
No, I get both of them bringing each other.
Her bringing him back.
You didn't get her.
No. What I didn't like was the very end is once they finally were on the same page together.
He's dead.
He dies.
Because I got. That's what I got.
That's because he was dead and he used the last bit of his.
Right, that was his last breath.
And I understand that. I just think that's bullshit because you.
That's what I was cool with. That made sense, but I had an issue with what led up to that. That's my problem. I didn't see. I think his redemption, and again, this was my issue with J.J. Abrams being involved. He took too many pieces from other movies, so they like, well, Darth Vader was good at the end. We can make Kylo Ren good, and I didn't. His redemption arc didn't to me, and I feel the conflict that was in him or whatever after killing his dad. I didn't see, and again, y'all, from them Skyping together and FaceTiming, them FaceTiming together.
I'm seriously like trying to remember what.
Yeah, they FaceTime. I feel like, to me, I didn't see enough. I didn't get enough for that to be his redemption. And that's why I said I felt like the turn was her bringing him back to life. And
I feel like that was him having the conversation with his father.
The redemption.
But that was after she brought him back to life.
Yes.
That is what he said. I don't know how. I don't think I'm strong enough to do this. I don't. And he's talking to his father in a way where I am really sorry I killed you.
Right.
Like,
and that's what I'm saying.
And I think that's more of the redemption than anything that has to do with him.
But there's
Rey.
a piece before that. Because Leia said, remember they said Leia knows what she has to do. And right before Rey killed him, Leia connected with him because that's what the pause was. And I think that's what did it for him, because he thought, remember he always kept saying, I can't go back.
Right.
He thought his mother was done with him.
Right.
And the fact that in this final moment, she reached out to him, that was the turning point of it all. So yes, and that moment, his mother reaches out to him. Rey stabs the lightsaber through him,
and she that's how she killed him, because he was distracted.
But with her also being distracted, but her also having the Force in her, knows what's happening and realized what it was, decides to now bring him back because Kylo Ren is no longer here. She felt the shift in the conflict in him is basically what I'm trying to say.
As soon as Leia died, he felt it. He was like, "Oh, my mom is gone now."
And then she felt it.
I feel like it was too much in one movie.
Okay.
I think everything y'all saying, if it would have took place in a more better story told instead of just all that happening like in 5 minutes,
right?
I think it probably would have played out a little better. That's how I feel. I think this movie put too much in it because everything happened here, right now.
I can agree.
I think if that storyline, because and again, the trilogy itself was so scatterbrained that you don't get none of this until this movie. So if this was just one movie, then you get the roller coaster. But it's like when you call back to the previous movies, it's missing a lot of those elements because it was going somewhere, then it went this way, then it went, and I think that's the issue with it overall. And that's why I say as a standalone movie on its own, I don't think it's as bad. I think that in the totality, the totality of the trilogy or the 9 movies itself, it suffers because of how the story was told. And I think that's the biggest issue with it. Because I agree with y'all on it's possible, the arc could happen, all that stuff, but I think it was just too much at one moment.
I didn't like the title. First of all, you keep calling it The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. This is not Skywalker.
And that was another issue I had with it.
That
she
was
just
a
gonna go
part
around
two.
and just be on some.
When we found out she was Palpatine, I feel
all
like that was
happened,
supposed to be like a, but nobody was like, we were like, okay, so.
Because I felt like that was just another. It was supposed to be that moment.
I feel like it was pandering to us at the lowest.
Yes.
Like if you say Skywalker, then because we all saw The Last Jedi, and we saw Luke go off into the ether or whatever, and you say The Rise of Skywalker, so obviously he must be coming back for something. Something happened to something. No, it's just this bitch.
Because
changing her last name.
Technically, Luke was the last Jedi.
Adopting the last
but then we
name.
find out that Luke trained Leia, but was she ever knighted as a Jedi? So he's the last Jedi.
That's
the Jedis are dead. Rey never got knighted into it either.
Right.
When did Leia?
Luke was the last Jedi.
Am I bugging? When did Leia have a lightsaber?
Well, it had to have been, and again, I didn't see all the cartoons. I didn't read all the books. I didn't know all the cartoons.
In flashback.
It may have happened in one of George Lucas's side stories. However, in the movies, it didn't happen until
let's deal with the movies.
And it had to have taken place after they knew each other, knew who they was, and then right after episode 6. He spoke to her, trained her, whatever, and that's probably what got him into training and reopening the school.
And she told me she had a dream that she was gonna kill her,
and she had her own lightsaber. So then that also goes back to that would explain why he tried to kill him. That makes sense to me.
But that also explains why she stopped trying to talk to him because she seen the vision that she was going to kill him. But he doesn't know any of this. He think his mama turned on him. He think his daddy turned on him. He think his uncle turned on him. So why wouldn't I go dark? My whole family done got rid of me.
Right. Communication is bad in this whole family. And I felt like Luke was wrong for trying to kill Kylo Ren because I thought he only wanted to kill him because he sensed the dark energy in him.
Right.
Leia told him years prior that I might have to kill my son. I'm gonna do it for you. Right. Then now it makes, and that's why I say when you look at the previous movies in conjunction with this movie, it's all over the place because that don't add up to that. Now you see he had a reason to kill him. He should have killed him. Right. He hesitated. Now I'm like, he should have killed him.
Right.
Then you have the whole Poe thing.
I think they really didn't know what to do with those side characters. And then they introduced some more side characters that had one thing to do.
But they kept trying to show that she had a love interest of some sort. In this one specifically, not really. The first one they tried to make it feel like it was her and Finn.
Finn was doing
that.
it.
I always felt it was her and Kylo. From day one.
Nah, Finn kept trying. He kept grabbing her hand.
Ray's end, I felt like
because
you cool.
And again, it was a hint of it because at the end of the movie, she finally met her. He's like, "Hey, I'm Poe." She's like, "Hi, I'm Ray." And that was kind of all we got with them. And then, you know what I'm saying? But Finn was always trying to, listen. And then we find out he got.
Force different area codes.
Not Poe, but I'm talking about Finn. Finn had
he got the Force in him. And the black girl.
We're not talking about the relationships. He has Force energy in him.
Right.
Because he kept feeling
her.
He kept feeling Ray. He kept feeling what was going on. He felt that the gun stopped.
This whole feeling thing
is a cop out.
I feel like it's not the Force. It's just a connection. You have a connection with someone. I feel like we spread this Force around to everybody.
And that's why I liked The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi was kind of saying us Jedi's been doing it wrong.
Right.
We don't own the Force. The Force can be in other people. It might be a little bit, might be a lot of bit, but it ain't just you got Force. Come with us to this cult school as a child. We gonna take your child and teach them how to fight and be a monk. That's creepy. And I feel The Last Jedi was going away from that, and people complained, so they brought J.J. Abrams in to give him the Force, bring them back, this movie suffered from all that.
They just went way too many places.
Yeah.
Because apparently you had people on the dark side that were a part of training with the Jedi, because they were doing the same thing. They was going and snatching kids and turning them into stormtroopers.
Right, and we didn't really get much, because we knew the original stormtroopers were clones.
Right.
Somewhere in there, the first order started recruiting kids and snatching kids up. Well, snatching them up and slaving them.
And turning them into slaves.
And they didn't brainwash them or anything, because some of them had a conscience. And now we see it wasn't just Finn. It was multiple people. She had her whole crew was all ex. So, and that's what I said. We got so much information.
There's so many questions.
Not even questions. We got a bunch of answers. Stuff we didn't even ask questions to.
This is true,
like we just was getting a bunch of answers.
This is
we
true.
was getting everything in this one movie.
But
with
I'm
two
just saying
movies
questions
ago.
because it's like, well, wait a minute. When did they stop using clones?
Right. Well, no, we know that. They in the Clone War, they killed them. We know that much.
Okay.
But we just don't know. But we just don't know. Because that was the mystery of Finn. It was like when the first movie came out,
right?
Like, oh,
Finn, that's right.
Finn is an ex. We never knew if the stormtroopers was like brainwashed, or were they droids?
But
droids,
they weren't. It was just you gonna do this.
But then it didn't matter. Like once it was like it didn't really matter. He's one that got away. Cool.
Right.
He's one. Then we find out it's about 100 of them, like, and I feel like that's why I say J.J. Abrams tried to answer so many questions that we weren't even asking.
Right.
And one of the questions was, still who's Rey's parents, and I feel like we didn't need to know who her parent or grandfather was. And I feel like it was just extra answers. He tried to tie up all loose ends, and I feel it failed. I feel it failed.
Agree. It was long.
I feel like, and it was
a lot of breathing,
and it was very 1, 2, 3. Like it was by numbers. We got to get a wayfinder. We got to get the GPS to get to his location. Oh, Luke been looking for this forever. Why he ain't say nothing before? Like so much of it was just so many implemented MacGuffins. Yeah, they introduced characters for just to answer a question. Introduced components to answer a question. Oh, the star one of the Star Killer bases was actually crash landed here. It exploded in space. How did pieces fall here? The Death Star. Yeah, it landed here perfectly with still stuff intact. Nobody raided it. Nobody robbed it. It was just landed here.
And it's in the water.
And
they know it's there, but they're not going over there.
The Jedi have their own temple. Then we find out the Siths do too. Like we never heard of a Sith temple. No. Until then. Like it was just, and then Palpatine.
And they made 2 viewfinders to get there.
Why was there 2? Why was there 2? Because we needed to. That's what it was. That's why it was 2.
Because he needed to find one.
And then at the end of the day, but we only needed 1 because Kylo Ren destroyed the other one.
Right.
She used his in the first place.
Right.
And then Palpatine surviving. So he died in Episode 6. He was thrown down a shaft. Right. Which exploded. Which kind of some flames came up. Right. Somebody saved him and preserved him after all these years.
And we don't know.
We don't know who it was. All we know is he was saved and hooked up to something. Right. And he had a whole...
Like in the Matrix.
He had about 100 other starships and people working with him. Right. He had a whole other... the last Republic they called it? The last Empire?
Order.
The Final Order. He had a whole... And how was they living down there?
Right.
They looked like they was under ice or something. Like it was a planet that was like a cold, desolate planet. I ain't seen no animals. I ain't seen that blue milk stuff that they be drinking.
They rebuilt his mask.
That was on that was on that planet?
Yeah.
I thought the robots did that. Was it animals that did that?
I did like the fashion change when they went from all black to black and red.
Well, his mask when they had the stitching in it, he came through.
And then they all
came through with a long john shirt or something.
And then the stormtroopers went from white to red.
The Knights of Ren. Yeah. His whole crew. He had a crew that they spoke of in the first movie. The Knights of Ren. They had a name. They all got identities, different things. Right. They did nothing. No. They was just another piece for him to fight and destroy before he get to the final boss. Yes. It was just so many things added in that.
And that you didn't even really know who they were. They were just there.
Yeah, because I think they said the Knights of Ren once. And they were supposed to be his people, so why would they
fight him?
Why he didn't say, "Hey guys, I'm good now. Come with me. I got a better plan. We gonna do this." Like, was there any conversation between them? It was just.
And why did the dude that kept trying to destroy Ren? he just kept saying, I don't care if y'all win.
The spy.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Out of nowhere, there's a spy now.
So he's a spy,
For how
but
long?
he's trying to get Ren out the way. Why? So you could be in the way. Like, it was just way too much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They answered questions we never asked.
It was like,
I'm the spy. Since when has there been a spy?
When they did the transfer, I said, I already know who the spy is.
It was obvious. Like,
In the beginning, he the one looking guilty at the damn table.
and then why do we have a spy? Like, when did he become the spy? Like, why was?
Because how else were we supposed to know what Ren was doing?
And that's why I was like, again, it was just so many by numbers. It was tell a story by numbers.
It was not
this
good.
happened, so this could happen. This happened, so this could happen. This could happen.
I would have really liked if they would have did an episode 9 part 1, episode 9 part 2.
Yeah,
it probably would have made more sense.
Yeah, I think they needed to stretch this movie out into 2 more parts.
And you could have took me all the way up to the point where she killed him, and then that would have brought me back. And because she runs away to the island where Luke, on some fuck this, I'm not doing nothing, burning everything, burning it down, I'ma live here in silence, I'm not going over there, I'm not going over here. And then all of a sudden Luke shows up.
And he caught the lightsaber. So now we find out that Force Ghosts can still interact with things.
Yes.
Because in the last movie, Yoda's Force Ghost electrified the tree and burnt the tree down.
Well, that's obvious if you have 2 people mind fighting.
Cool. So when you know that a Force Ghost can interact, why y'all ain't join the fight? Where was y'all at when Palpatine was alive? Nobody wanted to say, he over here doing things. Or something. Where was they at when y'all could have got involved before? When y'all just around, y'all pop up inconveniently, come through when there's important stuff happening.
Wait, but Ren and Rey
They just voices.
No, they passing stuff through each other through the minds.
Then she forced past the note. She airdropped it. She used the iPhone and airdropped the lightsaber. He then I got another one, fam. We good. That's what I'm saying. It was some force. The healing was cool.
Yeah.
We actually seen Baby Yoda do it. Spoiler alert, if you watch The Mandalorian, the healing.
And if that was the purpose of The Mandalorian, to show Baby Yoda doing that, to show us that it happened to him.
I don't know, but the Baby Yoda ain't forced airdrop some things.
No.
No. Yoda didn't go holler at Baby Yoda. He didn't talk to him. But now, like I said, the Force Ghosts can interact, but they don't get involved until. Somebody could have forced talk to Luke a long time ago. Somebody could have forced talk to somebody when stuff started popping off. Like,
long time ago.
I think everybody could have got involved. Somebody could have went and got the other Wayfinder because Luke said he knew where it was at. They knew where it was at. Luke, can you go get that for me? Bring it, because I'm not gonna walk these waves. You can walk these waves. Go get it. Like, it could have been handled.
Everybody knew who her family was and what her bloodline was,
and they all just knew.
Everybody just knew, but nobody told her. And then remember when they were going through the quicksand and he was like, Rey, I never told you.
And he still ain't
never told her.
Still ain't never told her.
Listen, we can go on and on and on and babble about it.
So now Poe is the head. Poe is the head.
So
they co Layla.
No, she put Leia. No, Leia put him in charge.
Yeah.
Well, acting.
Well, it should have been the chick from the last movie, the purple hair chick, because she was in command and then
she killed herself.
Oh, that's right, she did. So now Poe's in charge.
Poe and Finn are co.
Yes, they're co. He's I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
Poe and Finn are co.
But now they got nothing to fight because now we're supposed to believe this is just the happy ending. Like, this is it. Palpatine. All of this was because of Palpatine. He wasn't. Now we're supposed to believe he's dead. Not then. Now he dead. Nobody else gonna bother us now because it's only been him. He's only ever been. The Sith is all gone.
We'll see y'all in 10 years when there's
another one Jedi left.
Episode.
When they say, "Oh, but by the way."
Episode.
Well, so they're going to be continuing the movies. We just don't know where they're going to go. If it's going to be side stories, or they can continue these characters and just call it, something else. Rey, a Star Wars story.
Could she just tell Finn, bro, you don't have a chance. We just friends. Like, seriously.
I don't think she's preoccupied. That's the part he don't get. She
just lost her boo.
Right.
But he don't even know that she's not into him.
That's what I'm saying. She preoccupied.
He don't know she's not into him.
But that's why.
And that's the crazy part. That's why Poe had to keep snatching him, because every time she went off to do her own thing, he went trying to Rey, I'm coming with you.
Fam,
nigga, she blew you over there. Listen, me and my man's over here.
You need to get with that girl before Lando.
Right. Right.
Stay over there. Don't get into this.
Y'all got
This
so
ain't
much in
got
common.
nothing to do with you over here.
Right. And he was hyped. He was like, wait, you left too? Oh, let me get up here.
She was the same way.
But she was into him like,
until
what's
she like
popping? What's good?
until she
I
met,
thought him and Rose was gonna get it popping after the last
and they didn't
movie.
even touch
Because
on that.
Rose is into him, but he's in the
Love
Ray.
triangle. He missing all the action.
And Rose did the same thing.
She was like,
Said no. Go back to the ship. She's
I
gonna
burnt up
stay.
in a ship. I was like, oh, Rose, you really about that life? Oh, you going for it?
listen, we can go on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we rambled on.
Sorry.
Unless you got
You
something.
got something else on your mind?
I was thinking about the joke I made inside when we were watching Star Wars.
What joke
And
was it?
so when Kylo Ren came up and rolled over on Rey, I was like, and that's how you sexually harass somebody while they're sleeping.
That was definitely a
That's
situation.
how you do it while they're sleeping.
Yeah, and she woke up to like,
Yeah, right.
get up off me. What just happened? That was definitely a roofie wake up. You know. And then they kissed. It was just weird.
I was like, what is this, Romeo and Juliet?
It was
I've
just
been
weird.
waiting for that kiss for 3 movies.
Really? I didn't
I
want it.
really had.
I didn't know that was your stance. I didn't pick up on their chemistry until somewhere about maybe the second one, which was what, 8. I was like, there's some tension here. But it just was
like a
way
trope.
too much tension in this movie.
This movie had too much of it.
Yeah.
And I think they forced. I think it was just giving the people with the internet. They went through Twitter and wrote the script of this movie.
Yeah.
What are the people looking for? Okay, they want them to kiss. Cool. They want this. Cool. They want to be a grandfather. Cool. I think they just wrote the script from Twitter, from tweets from Star Wars fans.
I think they wanted them to be
And
on
Lando
the same
gonna say,
side.
tell Leia.
I thought he was gonna ask the woman, does she want a Colt 45?
Well, he kind of did. I mean, he said, "Where you
Send Leia
from?"
my love. Wait a minute, Lando.
Because I heard Han ain't here no more.
Lando.
She need a shoulder to lean
He
on.
was like, where you from, gal?
Yeah, Lando was creepy.
Lando was very creepy.
I mean, yeah.
And I don't remember Lando being creepy.
I know he was always creepy. He always tried to get at Leia. He turned on them. He was all about money. He was always a creep.
Yeah, no, he was a creep.
I was like, yo, how
That was
was
him.
Chewbacca like, yo, hey, Lando?
Well, because he got nobody else. He like, now we can fly like together or something.
know.
Because now I lost my
Because
man.
everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate how Chewie took the death of Leia. No, don't touch me.
Right.
Yeah.
Get off me.
Right.
Yeah.
He fell to his knees.
Yeah.
He beating his head. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, I feel bad for Chewie.
And they basically, wiped.
He lost everybody.
They wiped C-3PO's memory of the Last Jedi movie. So they basically, J.J. Abrams was basically saying, only pay attention to the movies I directed. Okay, Force Awakens.
And
The
that's
Rise of
some selfish
Skywalker.
shit.
Don't ignore that other movie because that's what we just did to C-3PO. We just wiped his
I
memory.
was like, before we wipe his memory, why don't we download his memory, hold it over here, and then put it back after we get the message? Like, why was that
And
so?
why they never take R2-D2 with them anywhere?
No, they don't
They
take him
brought
anymore.
everybody with them except for R2-D2.
Yeah.
He was just back in the crib. They didn't bring him nowhere. Like, I was saying that the whole time because they couldn't back him up because he wasn't with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And apparently they don't have Wi-Fi in this galaxy far, far away.
Right.
You know,
But
you got to plug in big USB cables.
Right. Right.
This man said they don't have Wi-Fi.
They don't. Only
You
Jedi's can
gotta plug
airdrop.
into everything.
Yeah, they had to literally plug in
Yes.
when the spy gave them the information. They had to plug in that big USB cable.
Like
Right.
when they got the new little R2 situation. He was
BB-8 or the newer one,
the newer
the conehead dude.
The conehead. You found him on old buddy shit. So at no point did y'all think to like dig into his memory and see what he knew.
Right.
Nah, he was like,
And
no, thank you,
Leia
no, thank you,
said
no, thank you.
that at the
He
beginning.
said-
He was like, no,
He
no
been
good
trouble.
touch, no
He
good
been
touch.
touched. Now he got a history. Somebody touched his cone in inappropriate
Said,
ways.
bad touch.
He was touched in some inappropriate ways.
Because
He was like, no thank you, no thank you,
Right.
no thank you. Oh, my wheels work. Oh snap. Okay, like
Only
I
person
could have
he
used you
liked
to get away.
was Leia.
Yeah. No, Ray. 'Cause
Ray,
Ray
sorry,
put some
yeah.
WD-40 on his
Yeah,
wheel.
she was nice to him.
And shout out to the little dude. What's his name that did the download?
Bob, what was his name?
Hello, I bubble freak.
Why, hello.
Shout out to him because he was like, yeah. he was cool. Forgot his little name, but yeah, he was cool. But like I said, we're not gonna go on anymore about that.
Yeah,